Tonight, you are exactly where you need to be. This gentle meditation is designed to help you unwind, quiet your mind, and slip into deep, restorative relaxation. As you listen, allow your body to soften, your breath to slow, and your thoughts to gently drift away so you can fully surrender to rest. Let's begin by arriving softly together, giving your body permission to slow down and letting your mind know it can rest inside this gentle moment. If you feel comfortable, please leave a friendly comment telling us where you are listening from, because seeing your city or country turns this practice into a circle of cozy lights across the world. Your simple hello helps us feel connected and welcomed, and it reminds others that they are relaxing alongside kind humans under the same peaceful sky. Settle into a position that feels sincerely good for you, whether you are seated with easy support or lying down with soft pillows beneath your knees or neck. Allow your hands to rest where comfort appears, perhaps over your heart, along your belly, or by your sides with the palms facing upward in a receptive shape. Let the muscles of your face begin to loosen as the room gently dims in your awareness, and imagine the edges of the day easing back like waves leaving a quiet shore. Invite your gaze to soften toward the floor, or allow your eyes to close, and give your attention permission to land in the present without needing to solve anything. You are not here to perform or impress, since you are here to be cared for by breath, by stillness, and by the steady support beneath you. It is enough to simply arrive and to notice that you have arrived, and that noticing becomes the doorway to calm. Take a slow inhale through your nose and let the breath travel down into the ribs and belly, as if you were filling a warm lantern with calm golden light. Pause for a comfortable heartbeat at the top without strain, and then gently exhale through the nose or mouth, releasing the day in an even stream that feels friendly and unforced. Observe how the out-breath unties small knots of tension, and how the body cooperates beautifully when spoken to with kindness. Inhale again as though you are gathering evening air from an open window, and allow the ribs to expand sideways like sliding doors opening to a garden at dusk. Exhale as though you are fogging a mirror with tenderness, and feel the shoulders settle away from the ears by the smallest, sweetest degree. Let your breath find its own natural rhythm, since the body remembers what to do when given time and trust. Bring soft awareness to the crown of your head and imagine a gentle glow settling there, like moonlight passing through quiet curtains. Let that glow move across the scalp and down into the forehead, smoothing lines of concentration that no longer serve this peaceful hour. Allow the space between your eyebrows to widen and soften, and let your eyes rest behind the lids as two calm lakes with perfectly still surfaces. Invite ease into your cheeks and the tiny muscles around your nose, and notice how a friendly expression begins to form naturally when tension evaporates from the center of your face. Relax your jaw by letting your tongue rest like a leaf on a quiet pond, with a small soft space between the teeth as effort drains away. Sense a ripple of release traveling down into your throat and across your collarbones, soothing places that worked hard to hold you up today. Guide the breath gently to your throat and picture a spacious archway there, welcoming air to move through with respect and with ease. Feel the back of your neck lengthen as though a caring hand were supporting the base of your skull, allowing the head to be held rather than held up. Notice how the front of the throat softens in response, trusting that you are safe and supported in this exact position. Invite your shoulders to drift downward like autumn leaves on a slow stream, letting gravity be kind and dependable. Feel the shoulder blades slide gently apart as the upper back broadens into comfort, like a curtain relaxing on its familiar rod. A small warm hum may appear across the top of the back as circulation and ease return to areas that appreciate your attention. Let the warmth of relaxation travel down your upper arms and elbows, and allow the forearms to become pleasantly heavy as though a soft blanket were placed there. Soften your wrists and hands, and let your fingers curl or lengthen in whatever shape feels like a true yes to your body. Notice any gentle tingling in the palms, and imagine that sensation settling into a quiet glow that promises rest. Bring awareness to your upper back and imagine a wide canvas being smoothed with patience. With each breath, ironing away creases that arrived earlier without asking permission. Let the middle back expand on the inhale as though the body were sipping spaciousness, and then melt into support on the exhale like a satisfied sigh. If the lower back speaks up, adjust your posture with kindness until comfort clicks into place, because alignment is an expression of care rather than control. Visit the chest with a tension that feels like warm light, and sense a soft lantern glowing there, illuminating without glare and warming without insistence. Allow the inhale to lift that lantern forward and upward, and let the exhale nestle it back into the cradle of your ribs. If emotions arise, greet them as important guests and show them to the best chairs, because acknowledged feelings relax more easily. Guide awareness to your belly and release any bracing that tried to protect you during the day, since protection can rest now that this room of time is safe. Invite the breath to visit the belly comfortably, rising and falling like a calm tide guided by a friendly moon that lives within you. If helpful, place a hand here and imagine a gentle, steady warmth meeting your palm and reassuring the entire nervous system. Offer attention to your hips and allow them to settle like smooth stones, finding perfect hollows at the bottom of a clear stream. Release your glutes and deep rotators with patient kindness rather than effort, because softness persuades where pressure resists. Let the pelvis rest in a shape that feels naturally supported, and feel how this small gift unlocks comfort up and down the spine. Invite relaxation to flow down the thighs, and imagine these strong muscles setting down the day's tasks at the door of a welcoming inn. Let your knees be soft and receptive to stillness, like quiet hinges that no longer need to swing for now. Allow your calves to lengthen and your shins to soften, as though unwinding cords with a patient touch. Soften your ankles and the tops of your feet, and spread your toes slightly so tiny muscles can release their loyal holding. Imagine warmth gathering in the soles like small hearth fires, steady and bright enough to mark this moment as safe. Let that warmth drift upward an inch, and then settle back down to anchor the whole body in grounded presence. Return gently to the breath and sense how it has already slowed, becoming a caregiver who needs no supervision. If it suits you, write a simple pattern by inhaling for a soft count of 4 and exhaling for a soft count of 6, keeping the numbers flexible rather than strict. Allow the counting to fade whenever it wishes, because the river of your breathing knows the way even without a map. Set a tender intention for this practice, and let it be humble and honest, such as a wish to rest more deeply, or a wish to meet yourself with gentler words. Whisper this intention inwardly and feel it rest behind the breastbone like a note tucked beneath a candle, glowing quietly throughout your time here. You do not need to make your intention happen, because intentions bloom most beautifully when watered with patience. When distractions appear, greet them like considerate guests who arrived early, and thank them for caring before inviting them to sit at the periphery. Assure them they will be addressed later with clarity, and then return to your breath, which always holds your seat at the table of calm. Every return to the breath strengthens your pathway home, and the path grows softer under your steps each time you walk it. If it feels supportive, imagine that you are sitting beside a quiet shoreline just after sunset, while the water becomes glass and the horizon gathers indigo and rose. Each inhale draws color and peace into your chest, and each exhale smooths the surface of the mind like a careful brush across watercolor paper. The air carries cedar, a hint of rain, and the faintest sweetness of night-blooming flowers that open only when the world is gentle. Place a small basket beside you in this scene and imagine setting one worry inside without analysis, offering gratitude for its attempt to help. Watch the tide lift the basket an inch and lower it an inch, a cradle motion that promises safekeeping until morning. Add more worries if you choose, or leave the basket as it is, because sovereignty is calming and choice opens the door to ease. Let your posture respond to comfort and not to habit, and notice how the body reconfigures when invited rather than commanded. Alignment becomes an act of friendliness, and friendliness turns the whole room inside you into a hospitable place. Feel the softness of being supported by the ground while being held by your breath and welcomed by your own attention. Bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly if that feels good. And sense the temperature of your palms meeting the steady rhythm beneath. Honor the strength if the beat feels bold, and honor the subtlety if the beat feels quiet, because your rhythm is trustworthy in every one of its forms. Let a soothing phrase ride the next 3 breaths. Perhaps I am safe, or I am allowed to rest, or I meet myself with kindness now. Lower your hands when you are ready, and notice the afterglow that remains, like warm light hanging on the air where a candle has just been blown out. Invite that glow to drift through the shoulders, along the arms, through the chest and belly, and down the legs, spreading permission for comfort. Allow the warmth to collect again in the soles of the feet as an anchor that keeps you grounded, even as your mind floats. We will now soften into a brief body scan, continuing to cultivate steadiness as preparation for deeper rest or meditation. Begin at the top of the head and glide awareness downward like a slow beam of evening light, pausing to listen wherever the body whispers. If you encounter resistance, greet it with warmth and patience, and remind it that nothing urgent is required in this moment. Scan the forehead, the eyes, the jaw, and the tongue, releasing tiny tensions with the gentlest invitation you can imagine. Move slowly across the neck, the throat, and the tops of the shoulders, melting stiffness like frost touched by the first glow of dawn. Travel down the arms to the elbows, wrists, palms, and fingers, blessing the useful hands that can finally rest without carrying anything. Continue across the chest and upper back, giving the ribs room to float on the breath and giving the spine permission to unfurl by a peaceful inch. Listen at the heart as if it were a loyal drum, and meet its rhythm with gratitude for its continuous devotion. Wander across the belly and lower back and soften any bracing that once felt necessary, replacing it with trust and comfort. Let the glow move through the hips, the thighs, and the knees, and feel how each exhale escorts lingering effort toward the exits. Sweep gently along the shins and calves to the ankles and feet, and notice the satisfaction of settling more deeply into stillness. Rest your awareness on the whole body simultaneously, sensing a spacious calm that holds every part in equal kindness. If you enjoy a simple mantra with breath, try silently thinking soften on each inhale and release on each exhale, letting the words be guides rather than rules. You can continue with these words or choose your own, since your inner language of care is already fluent. If the words drift away, let them go gently and return to the ocean-like rhythm that your body is making all by itself. Consider a small intention for after this practice, and keep it tender and keepable, perhaps to pause before your next task and feel your feet, or to speak one kinder sentence to yourself. Small promises change the tone of a day when they are held with affection instead of pressure. Let your intention sit like a friendly note on your inner desk, waiting for you with a smile when you return to your activities. We will begin to close this introduction as we opened it, with breath and with kindness and with a sense of togetherness. Gather an easy inhale and imagine it lighting that warm lantern at the center of your chest, so it glows just a little brighter. Exhale slowly and picture the light spreading through your shoulders, arms, belly, hips, legs, and feet, so that no part of you is overlooked. If your eyes are closed and you wish to open them, invite a few gentle blinks and let the room return like dawn arriving at a quiet window. If your eyes prefer to remain closed, allow them to stay heavy and soft, and continue floating on your breath with comfortable trust. Either way, you have created a refuge inside attention, and you are welcome to linger here as long as you wish. As you move into deeper meditation or into a gentle night of sleep, keep the breath soft, the shoulders easy, and the jaw relaxed, and allow quiet to do its steady work. You may begin a focus on the sensations of breathing, a mantra practice, a loving kindness meditation, or you may simply drift in this peaceful awareness. Trust your intuition to choose what feels most nurturing, because your inner wisdom understands the medicine you need tonight. Take one last nourishing inhale and silently thank your body for showing up. And then take one long exhale that carries gratitude to every cell. Let your breath continue with its gentle music while you rest inside the warm light you have created. You're doing wonderful. You have arrived at a place where trying can take off its heavy coat, where effort can sit down at the door like a friendly dog, and where you can slip into the gentle rhythm of a night that promises to carry you with care. Feel the support beneath you, listening to the shape of your body and answering with loyal steadiness, like a shoreline receiving the evening tide without question and without hurry. Let your shoulders breathe downward as if they have just been given excellent news, and allow your jaw to unlock with a quiet click of relief while your tongue rests like a leaf floating on a calm pond. Your brow smooths into a peaceful horizon. Your eyes nestle behind their lids like two lakes at dusk, and your breath moves in with its own gentle wisdom, gathering softness on the inhale and sharing softness on the exhale. Imagine a window in your mind easing open on silent hinges, revealing a sky the color of deep velvet sprinkled with attentive stars that shine with kindness rather than urgency. A wide pathway appears, woven from starlight and moonlit cloud, and the air invites you forward with a fragrance of night-blooming flowers and cool river stones, a scent that says you are safe, you are welcomed, and you are home. You step through without hurry, carried by breath and buoyed by trust, and the night draws closer like a soft shawl settling across your shoulders. Below, the world is sleeping with grace, with rooftops folded like resting hands, and meadows stitched with gentle streams that shine like ribbons of silver as they drift toward distant hills. You rise a little higher, lifted by comfort rather than effort, and you glide along a trail of constellations that brighten slightly beneath your imagined feet, the way stones glow when kind stories are told about them. Each star you cross leaves a quiet blessing behind, not loud and not demanding, only a small warmth that lingers where it is welcomed most. A cloud comes close, shaped like a patient ship with a deck of pale light and rails wrapped in tiny bellflowers that ring when you exhale, their chime so soft that it feels like a smile you can hear. You step aboard and the cloud ship learns your rhythm instantly, offering a slow, reassuring sway, a motion that whispers to your nervous system that everything can loosen and everything can rest. Dream moths drift beside you with wings patterned in leaf veins and moonlit maps, and their gentle spirals tone the air with the kind of calm that only shows up when it is truly invited. Ahead, the sky opens into a wide avenue of color where auroras move like silk ribbons, painting the night with tender greens, quiet blues, and hushed violets that breathe in time with you. As you pass beneath the ribbons, the colors seem to bless the top of your head and your temples and your shoulders, leaving a trail of cooling ease wherever they touch. You do not need to hold on to this ease because the ease is holding on to you, with skill and with patience and with love. The cloud ship glides toward a lighthouse that stands upon a cloud island, its lantern turning in slow circles that never hurry and never miss anyone who needs guidance. Instead of a beam that slices the dark, the lighthouse pours soft halos into the air, as if kindness itself had learned how to become light. You drift closer until the halos touch your chest and your throat and the small muscles behind your eyes, and each touch invites another deep unwinding. The keeper of this lighthouse is not a person, but a feeling, an attentive peace that gently tidies the mind like a patient librarian shelving returned thoughts. Any idea that insists on staying awake is given a bookmark and a comfortable chair and a little blanket of patience, so it can rest without disappearing and you can rest without negotiating. With each breath, the library grows quieter, and with each exhale, another page is turned toward the chapter called sleep. You continue your journey and notice a slow river of stars below, flowing through the sky the way a silver current might cross a meadow on a summer night. The cloud ship settles beside the river, and a simple footbridge of moonbeams appears, arching to a small grove of night birch trees, whose white trunks glow like friendly lanterns. You step onto the bridge and pause in the middle to look down at the star water moving with your breath, inhaling as the current brightens and exhaling as it softens, perfectly and easily. A path leads into the birch grove, where a wind the temperature of kindness caresses the leaves, making a hush-hush sound that sounds like a lullaby sung by the trees themselves. In the center of the grove stands a little pavilion made of braided willow and woven night, and inside the pavilion sits a low table with a bowl of starlight, shimmering like water in a calm fountain. You are invited to draw a thought through your mind and pass it over the bowl without forcing it to change. And as you do, the bowl brightens, and the thought becomes less like a demand and more like a cloud that can be admired or ignored. One by one, you bring your thoughts to the bowl, giving them moments of tenderness rather than arguments. And the more you honor them, the more they soften, because what is welcomed rarely needs to shout. The pavilion begins to glow gently from within, and the glow drifts to your shoulders and settles there like a light shawl woven from approval and ease. You realize that sleep is not a destination you must reach, but a river that arrives when the banks are friendly and the stones are smooth. Outside the pavilion, a narrow stairway appears, carved from moonlight and edged with mossy stardust, inviting you downward toward a floating valley of clouds that looks like a field of cream. You descend at a pace that pleases you, and each step feels like a string loosening on an instrument until the whole body is tuned to the key of rest. At the bottom of the stairs sits a quiet night train with silver carriages and glowing windows, and the conductor is the breeze itself, courteous and sure. You board the train and find a seat beside a window that opens onto the world's most calming horizon, where distances are wide and panes are small, and lights blink kindly across villages of sleep. The carriage hums in that steady way only trains can, a rhythm that makes the heart feel companioned and makes the breath feel guided. And before long, you are swaying in time with the rails. Outside, fields of cloud flowers pass by, their petals made of pale glow, and you can almost hear them telling an old story about nights that know how to hold what days cannot. The train slows at a station called the Gentle Crossing, which is nothing more than a wooden platform and a sleeping lantern and a sign painted with patience. You step down and follow a walkway of polished boards toward a cove of sky water where tiny boats made from willow leaves bob in a tidy row, each boat carrying a candle that refuses to hurry. The keeper of the cove invites you to place a worry into one of the leaf boats with simple respect, and you do so, not to banish the worry, but to give it a softer place to rest. You watch the boat drift across the cove and join a constellation of other leaf candles, and the sight is so quietly beautiful that your breath deepens of its own accord. Another worry is placed into a second boat, and then a final one into a third, and each floats away with the grace of something that has been thanked and therefore feels no need to cling. The water receives everything with a sound like silk sliding through a ring, and you feel received as well, just as you are, without any edits. Following a soft trail, you arrive at a meadow suspended in the night, where grasses shine with a pearl sheen, and night crickets keep the slowest, most faithful rhythm. In the center of the meadow, there is a low hammock strung between two cloud willows, woven from silver thread and the quiet fibers of evening rain, and you ease yourself into its cradle with a sweetness you hardly need to describe. The hammock learns your favorite shape and holds it kindly, while the willows lean closer to write their small poems upon the breeze. Let your attention travel to your feet and feel them grow warm and pleasantly heavy, as if two small hearths have been lit beneath the soles and are now glowing with trustworthy calm. Invite your ankles to unlace their vigilance and your calves to lengthen into ease, letting the fibers unwind like ribbons taken off after a long day. Allow your knees to soften from guardians into guests, and sense your thighs settling into the hammock like travelers who have found the inn they were sure existed, but could not describe until now. Welcome your hips to nestle into perfect hollows, so your lower back can breathe a long sigh of gratitude, and let your belly become a gentle tide, guided by a moon you carry within. Feel your ribs open out and return as if the body were a house with windows that know exactly how far to lift for a night like this. In the center of your chest, imagine a small lantern glowing with friendly light, warming your heart space without glare and without demand. Allow that glow to travel into your shoulders and down your arms, passing through elbows and forearms and wrists like liquid dusk, and pooling in your palms with a soft, sparkling hum. Your hands remember the elegance of doing nothing, and your fingers fall into an unstudied curve that says yes to rest in a language older than words. Let your neck lengthen comfortably, as if a caring palm has found its place at the base of your skull and offered to hold what you do not need to hold. Invite your cheeks to smooth and your lips to rest in a gentle, natural shape, while your eyelids grow heavy like velvet drapes that close at precisely the right moment. Inside your head, picture a window opening onto a courtyard of quiet where thoughts become drowsy birds, each tucking its beak beneath a soft wing and sleeping without fear. You are present to this quiet, and you are part of this quiet, and the quiet is pleased to have you. Beyond the meadow, an owl reads the night aloud in a soft library voice, and a far waterfall keeps time like a silver metronome that forgot how to hurry. The hammock answers with an almost invisible sway, and your breath matches it, beat for beat, a duet that needs no rehearsal because it is written in your bones. Everything in this scene, from stars to grasses to your own heartbeat, agrees that gentleness is the wisest teacher tonight. If a thought knocks with bright shoes, thank it for caring and guide it to a bench at the meadow's edge where a little lantern and a cotton blanket are waiting, because even thoughts deserve comfortable places to rest. Notice how quickly the brightness softens when it is treated as a friend rather than a problem. And notice how easily your attention returns to breath and body when kindness leads the way. Kindness is not a trick you play on yourself. Kindness is the shortest and truest road to calm. From your hammock, you can see a quiet harbor of clouds, where small boats made of moon silk drift in lazy circles, and the harbor master is the wind itself, polite and wise. You imagine stepping into one of those boats not with your feet but with your breath, letting the inhale be the push from the pier, and the exhale be the glide toward the open water of sleep. You understand without effort that this boat knows the route, and that you are its cherished passenger. Let a final wave of release move gently from your forehead down to your eyes and cheeks and jaw, then along your throat and chest and belly, then through your hips and thighs and knees, and onward through your calves and ankles and feet, all the way to the very tips of your toes. At each place, quietly agree to be comfortable, quietly agree to be supported, and quietly agree to be carried, because agreement is a soft key that unlocks every inner door. Feel those doors opening now in an easy sequence, revealing rooms of quiet you have always owned, and walk into them as a welcomed guest in your own home. The night lowers its voice another gentle notch, The stars dim to a drowsy shimmer, and the moon slips a thin veil across the sky as if tucking the world in with practiced hands. Your breath continues its patient loop, and your heart keeps its steady counsel, and your body settles into the precise contour of rest that fits you like a tailored kindness. There is nothing left to aim at and nothing left to fix, because the night will carry this hour for you and morning will carry the next. Remember that the path you walked, over constellations, through the birch grove, past the lighthouse, and into the meadow of silver grasses, lives inside you and can be opened with a single gentle breath. The leaf boats on the cove will hold your worries whenever you wish. The night library will keep your place with a ribbon of moonlight, and the cloud ship will wait with patient sails unfurled. Nothing in this landscape expires or grows impatient, because true rest is timeless and deeply on your side. As you drift, let yourself be the feather that knows the cushion is waiting. Let yourself be the river that knows the ocean is generous. And let yourself be the lantern that knows it does not need to burn brightly to be useful. Sleep gathers like kind fog upon a friendly river, softening edges and turning the world into watercolor, while the part of you that watches over everything finally rests its head. Now let's fly across the sleepy night sky. Let this invitation settle in your chest like a gentle lantern lighting from within, warm and steady, guiding your breath to become soft and unhurried. You do not have to try to float or force your wings to open, because the night will do the lifting while you simply agree to be carried. Feel the surface beneath you offering trustworthy support, the kind that remembers your shape and meets you exactly where you are. Let your shoulders recline by a small and satisfying measure, drifting down the way snow settles on a quiet roof when the wind grows still. Allow your jaw to loosen into comfort, with your tongue resting as lightly as a leaf in clear water, while your brow smooths into a horizon of evening calm. Imagine a window of the imagination opening with no sound at all, releasing a ribbon of cool night air that smells of starlit lake water and distant pine. Curtains breathe with you, moving outward on your inhale and returning on your exhale, as if the whole room has remembered the rhythm you love best. Step through the window in your mind and feel darkness welcome you, like a favorite blanket that knows precisely how to drape and where to warm. Beneath you, rooftops rest like folded hands, and a river threads the valley with a silver line so smooth it seems drawn by a patient artist. Soft constellations gather above, not proud or loud, only kind and attentive, as if each star had chosen this evening to stand guard and comfort. You float upward on the exhale and pause in luxurious suspension on the inhale, learning that drifting is not the absence of control, but the presence of trust. A cloud the shape of a small boat drifts near, with a pale deck of moonlit mist and a slender rail wrapped in tiny bellflowers. You step aboard and the cloud boat rocks with the gentlest sway, an almost imagined rhythm that your breath recognizes and quickly adopts as its own. Each bellflower rings only when you release air, offering a hushed chime that blesses your exhale and encourages your whole body to follow it into softness. The cloud boat glides along a path of stars that look like polished stepping stones, each one brightening a fraction as you approach, then settling into contentment after you pass. Dream moths with downy wings drift in slow spirals, their patterns tracing maps that lead to lakes of quiet and coves of ease. The moths make no demands and keep no schedules. They simply escort you with the dignity of beings who understand how to move without hurry. Ahead rises a braid of aurora, soft greens and blues and hushed violets unfurling like silk, combing tangles from the sky as they move. You pass beneath the gentle ribbons and feel their cool glow touch the crown of your head, then your forehead, then your cheeks and throat, leaving a trail of delicate refreshment. Each touch whispers that it is all right to loosen your hold on the day, because the day has loosened its hold on you. A shore of clouds appears, and upon it stands an observatory of night, built from dark wood and patient windows bright with golden hush. The cloud boat draws alongside, and a bridge of soft starlight extends to meet your feet with confidence that makes your balance feel effortless. You walk toward a door that opens on its own, revealing a round room with a domed roof wide enough to frame entire galaxies, and gentle enough to calm a single thought. In the center of the floor rests a low cushion that knows exactly how to hold a body into easy alignment, like a friend who always finds the right words. As you sit, the dome above slides open, and a field of stars leans closer, arranging themselves into arcs and spirals that echo the curve of your breath. A kindness in the air folds itself around your shoulders, shapes itself to your back, and agrees to keep watch while you close your eyes and rest in safety. Let your attention drift to your feet and imagine small hearths glowing under each sole, radiating steady warmth that invites a sweet heaviness. Allow the ankles to unclasp their vigilance, and the calves to lengthen like silk unspooling from a spool that no longer needs to be tight. Let your knees soften into neutral, and your thighs settle, content as stones finding perfect hollows in slow riverbeds. Travel upward with your awareness and invite the hips to nestle into the cushion's support, so your lower back can send a private sigh of relief. Let the belly sway like tidal water guided by a moon you carry within, lifting with kindness on the inhale and lowering with trust on the exhale. Feel the ribs opening from the sides with spacious courtesy, then returning home again. Not as a closing door, but as a curtain settling with grace. Bring soft focus to the heart space, and imagine a quiet lantern glowing behind the breastbone, warming the room of your chest without glare or demand. Allow that glow to stream into both shoulders, unhooking the tiny fasteners of effort that once kept them high. Let warmth flow down the arms, through elbows and forearms, all the way to palms that pool with pleasant tingling and fingers that discover their favorite unstudied curve. Visit the back of the neck and feel it lengthen comfortably, as if a loving palm were placed there to help you trust the weight of your head to the world. Invite the jaw to loosen, the cheeks to unknit, and the lips to rest in a shape that belongs to comfort. Behind your closed lids, imagine a breeze passing through rooms of thought, lifting dust from shelves and opening windows toward a garden of hush. When you open the eyes of your imagination again, The observatory's dome shows a slow procession of constellations forming tender pictures that feel like private blessings. One cluster becomes a cradle of light, another shapes itself into a boat with a lantern on its bow, and another draws a path that loops back to where you are every time. These pictures tell a story about how you cannot drift out of reach of care, because care extends in all directions like a gentle tide that never forgets the shore. A telescope sits near the window with a note that reads, "Look here and see what loves you," written in hand that is both ancient and familiar. You peer through and find not just stars, but scenes of your day made softer, the edges warmed by empathy, and the centers brightened by understanding. Every challenge wears a ribbon of context, and every effort radiates a soft halo of sincerity, and you feel a quiet pride that asks for no applause. You thank the room, and as you stand, the cloud bridge brightens and invites you back to the open sky where your calm ship waits with devoted patience. Stepping aboard, you sense the air has thickened into velvet kindness, the kind that holds you while asking nothing at all. You settle on a cushion of mist and let the boat move of its own accord toward a realm where dreams begin to knit themselves from threads of silver and pearl. Far below, a kingdom of dim cottages glows with hearthlight, and their chimneys release slow ribbons of smoke that curl into constellations with cozy names. A clock somewhere in that kingdom ticks a gentle tempo, not to hurry anyone, but to remind the night to keep its promise to be long enough. You feel time lengthening around you the way a soft sweater stretches to match your posture, and never complains about the shape you need. A soft arch of mist appears ahead, framing a star meadow rippling like satin, with low hills shaped from illuminated fog. At the meadow's edge stands a tree of moonwood with a door in its trunk and a brass handle that is neither cold nor hot, but exactly right. When you press the handle, the door yields to a room that smells faintly of cedar, honey, and a single bright orange sliced many winters ago in a memory you love. Inside is the closet of coats you no longer need to wear, a row of soft colors and gentle textures, each coat labeled with a worry that once kept you warm by keeping you tense. You lift one coat and thank it for service, Then place it on a hospice of hangers reserved for loyal burdens ready to rest. Another coat follows, and then another, and with each release you feel your spine grow comfortable and your chest more spacious, like a window unlatched to let in spring. A small broom leans in the corner, and you sweep the floor not out of duty but for the lull of the sound, the way sweeping writes peace across wood. Your broom gathers little dusts of old stories and ushers them to the threshold where a breeze carries them away without ceremony. You do not need to watch them go because the important part is how the room now feels, a place where breath sits down and smiles. You step back onto the meadow and discover a path of lanterns the size of teacups, each cradling a steady flame that blinks hello as you pass. The path leads to a glider woven from midnight silk, waiting on a hill shaped exactly for taking off with minimal wind and maximal trust. You sit in the glider and notice that its seat remembers your preferred angle. Then it lifts on a breeze that feels like a promise kept. Now the world becomes a soft map unfolding beneath you, its borders drawn with kindness rather than lines. Rivers become sentences that say, "Rest here." Forests become paragraphs that say, "Hush now." And mountains become exclamation points softened by snow. You realize that every place is saying something gentle if you listen with the part of you that understands lullabies. The glider circles a lake so still that it feels like the sky paused and sat down to catch its own breath. On the lake's surface, leaf boats carry tiny candles, drifting in loose constellations that mimic the stars above, making the world seem mirrored by kindness. You release a small memory into one boat and thank it for trying to protect you, and the boat drifts away with a steadiness that frees the ribs to widen in relief. Another breeze guides you toward a valley where sound is soft, woven from cricket choirs and an occasional owl librarian reading the night aloud. You descend into a hammock strung between two cloud willows, the fabric knit from silver and dusk, with a touch of cedar fragrance tucked into each thread. The hammock welcomes your weight with the perfect give, and the willows lean just close enough to write small poems along the edge of your hearing. Bring attention down your body once more and notice how your feet have become warm stones, how your calves have become ribbons at rest, and how your knees have become friendly hinges that no longer feel obliged to move. Let your thighs sink into the hammock's knowledge of holding, and let your hips find the hollows designed exactly for them. Allow your belly to surf on your breath's gentle tide, and let your heart be the quiet lighthouse that turns in patient circles of assurance. Your shoulders slide away from your ears as if magnets were reversed, and your arms grow deliciously heavy, owed to nothing but permission. Hands settle into stillness, and fingers adopt the curve beloved by sleep, an unpracticed shape that always looks natural because it is honest. Neck lengthens, cheeks soften, brow smooths, and the head floats on the pillow of night like a small moon cradled by friendly gravity. If a thought arrives with bright shoes and eager steps, offer it a cushion near the willow trunk and a tiny blanket of patience. Explain with kindness that you are safe and that it may rest until morning, and watch it yawn and curl into a small, harmless shape. When it sleeps, you forget it without effort, not by force, but by the simple logic of comfort. Above the hammock, the stars dim their sparkle to a drowsy glow, like nightlights that know their job perfectly. The air cools by a breath, which is to say it becomes exactly right for the traveler you are in this gentle moment. A waterfall far away tries on a whisper and finds it suits the hour, then keeps it. Your breath and the hammock decide to move together, lifting slightly as you inhale and settling as you exhale, a duet of support and surrender. The lake's surface beyond the willows makes a small silver agreement with the moon, promising to keep both secrets and reflections without complaint. Everything around you participates in the science of ease, which is to say the art of being careful with a tired heart. If you like, you can add a rhythm to your breathing that stays gentle, perhaps a comfortable 4 for the inhale and a tender 6 for the exhale. Keep the numbers soft and optional, because your body prefers kindness to precision when the destination is sleep. Let the counting fade the moment it wants to, trusting that your breath remembers the way home even when you put down the map. In the distance, a night library lifts its lantern at the window, promising that the page you need will be waiting whenever curiosity returns in the morning. For now, stories gather themselves without asking your help, and they weave a nest of images that will hold you without tangling you. Your only task is to be the one who is held, which is not a task at all, but a birthright. The hammock's sway becomes almost imaginary, the sort of movement you feel more than see, and it turns your body into a gentle pendulum, measuring a new kind of time. This time cares only for comfort, and only for the truth that comfort keeps, which is that nothing urgent lives in the dark but the seeds of rest. You begin to sense those seeds opening, tiny and content, as sleep germinates quietly under the soft soil of your awareness. Let one last wave of release move down from your forehead to your eyes and cheeks, then along your jaw and throat, then across your chest and belly, then through your hips and thighs, and all the way to knees, calves, ankles, and the sweet tips of your toes. At every stop, whisper yes to comfort, yes to support, and yes to being lovingly carried by the night. Feel how yes unlocks every latch inside, one gentle click at a time until all the inner doors stand open to ease. The willows lower their branches just a little more, creating a late-night canopy that edits the world down to what matters, which is your breath and your safety and your belonging. The lake holds the moon and your reflection with equal tenderness, proving that the world can carry more than one grace at a time. The stars hum a kindly bar of lullaby, and that single bar repeats forever without growing old. If you listen inside, you can hear the seasoned timbers of the glider and the dock and the observatory keeping a slow, reassuring pulse, a wooden heartbeat that outlasts hurry. This pulse synchronizes with your own, like two old friends walking home down a lane of lanterns, content to be unremarkable because they are perfectly at peace. Your body understands and loosens further, as if resting were the most natural language it was ever taught. You may drift now, not because you escaped the day, but because the night welcomed every part of it and offered translation into calm. You may sleep now, not because you earned it, but because you are alive, and kindness is part of the contract life signed with you at the beginning. You may dream now, and your dreams will be patient, and your breath will be faithful, and your heart will be held. As you slip into deeper quiet, keep the doorway to this sky tucked in your pocket of attention. A small silver key that opens windows and softens edges whenever you wish. The cloud boat will wait where mist meets moonlight. The leaf boats will float where reflections form, and the observatory will keep your cushion warm. Everything in this gentle world is yours to revisit, because everything here was made from your breath and your trust. Rest now in the sweetest part of night, wrapped in darkness that behaves like a loving friend, while soft gravity holds you in the precise contour of peace. Let the final thoughts fold themselves like letters already read and cherished, and let the silence address you by name in the tone it reserves for homecoming. That ends tonight's journey, but you're welcome to stay a bit longer.